So here's the sequence of events as it actually factually happened. In fact, I've been debating, okay, because say Andrew is the Lux, Lucifer series, and etc. And then that's the Johnson stuff. And then you got Jonah, that is apparently more towards the music kind of thing. Now, my mission after I came back to the island and then went back to Cali, it started off when I first left here and went to Tennessee. It was called Mission Investigating Lucifer. And, whoever still has my, backups of my website, you will see I was on Mission Investigating Lucifer because the first letter I received was from Russell Pearson mentioning that he is Lucifer, Father of all creation, Archangel Uriel, Lucifer Morning Star. And next thing you know, very shortly after, I received a call from David in Shasta, and he mentioned Andrew and gave me his number, and I contacted Andrew, and very shortly after, I had a call from Jonah that said, hey, I left Shasta and I'm your divine masculine and I'm so in love with you. So I had Russell first, and then Andrew came in the field, also, offering kind of support and backup and presence. And then Jonah came right after. And then to top it all off, Tompkins came and put in his last 2 cents. And I was kind of derooted. But in actual truth, when I first went to Mount Shasta, California, I went to meet Russell Pearson. I had a call at Days Inn from these people in North Carolina that told me Russell Pearson is the fake Uriel and he's going to destroy Mission in Mount Shasta, California. And I had a lot of differences since day one with Miguel. Like, the first day he blocked my URL because I was making sense. And I was telling all the trolls of the room what's what. And he directly blocked me. They entered me as the Duchess. So he blocked my URL. And then right away, the next morning, David kicked me out of Moss Creek with $200. And I went to the Ramada North End. Then I went to the Metropolitan South End. And I started to, fight for my life and to stay on top of water, above water. But then Andrew had to leave Mission House, and I had 2 beds in my room, and I'm like, why don't you come by? And I have a laptop. He's like, well, all I need is a connection, and I have my own. And I already took from there the files to start up a chat room and la la la. And I had already begun, all my galactic transmissions, like straight up. And instead of coming to me, he went to Fort Lauderdale because he was too busy trying to become somebody. And it continued. Same for Jonah. Every time he would call, I would invite him to the island and say, hey, I have a contract at Town Hall for Heaven on Earth. And I would give him access to my website for him to post articles. And they took my kindness for weakness. Now, when I went to meet Russell up in Shasta, that's when, Miguel kissed me in meditation. So it was not, it was unrequited. And he directly put me in a 3-way with Amber because she was sleeping on the floor that night, that he hugged me the whole night when he first ignited contact with me. We hadn't even messed together on physical levels by that point. But he right away directed energies between her and I, and he had already programmed her before I arrived to the house to sort of be the one who's going to exterminate me. And she was already ready. Like, soon as I entered the house, she took me to the pool table, started to drink shots with me, like very masculine energy, and started to. It was not love everywhere present. It was not balanced harmonics. It was not what they made pretend that love has won would be. So right away, I felt very threatened and endangered by this group. And then Amy Carlson gave Amber and I an equal chance to both be giving sessions as well as writing articles. Well, I performed. Amber didn't do nothing. She just would follow me around at Rite Aid every time Michael and I would shop, and she would say very mean things about myself and my hair color, and about how I had money from, source, because I am Galactic Confederation of Light, Heaven on Earth, Galactic Central Aurora, Mother of New Creation, since before forever. And she would just be jealous and just talk about it with Miguel. And then he started to leave her home, not take her out with us. And then they did these rituals, killed her cats for her to become me. And I had no idea. He had set her up to go get Andrew, and then he set up Tatiana to keep Jonah. And when I told him, hey, well, Russell Pearson just backed up my covenant for Aurora, Mother of New Creation, he said, there's no such thing as that. There's no such thing as Russell. It doesn't. What are you talking about? And then Amy Carlson started to laugh. She said, yeah, well, his twin flame is Lady Gaga or whatnot. And as of then, after he emailed me the warrioress goddess love letter, where he never gave me any physical location for me to locate him at, the Bikram came in the field, took a session from me. I was at Adi's at Tanglewood 402. Then I moved to Gnesta, and I had to, quick exit the space, go to Johnson City. And the stuff happened as it did. I was not really allowed by Advanced Car Rental to go alone in a car like I had planned to, because they did this whole trick on the island to have me forced go with Bikram Brendan so that he stays in the room, so that they do this parallel operation between Johnson City and here, so that Brendan also, just like Miguel did, Brendan also imported some Cabal whores, same, and just switched them up. He switched up Heather Harvey with Colombia's Cristal Cordoba, and they switched places. And just like Miguel had brain MK Ultra'd Amber to be like so competitive, wanting to become me, Brendan did the same with Cristal. So the first look she gave me in the Bikram studio after Tennessee was a very threatening look. And as a result, both Amber and Cristal both sent me death threats, deportation threats, and electronic targeting, and restraining order threats. So, and then they're still pursuing it. Still, like when Adam Tompkins sends me anything, he sends me pictures of the neighborhood around me. They're still electronically targeting me at all times, which is not totally very legal, to be quite honest, and it is not absolutely not constitutional. When them are the threat to America and not myself, I never steal, and I never lie, and I never harass people, nor do I do any of these actions. And if I ever come off as that, it's only because I'm reflecting their behavior. And I'm very severely all the time under attack and threatened. So next thing I found out when I tried to email Pearson from Ocala, after I emailed him here from Gnesta, all I heard as of the first letter was rebucal energy, like, you who goes as Dima Tabrawi or Arkea Aurora, I will put a restraining order on you if you come near my family and I. In Ocala, he said to me, sorry, not sorry, and hasta nunca. And then the last thing I heard from him when I emailed from Forsyth 211 Cardillo was, Maria said to me and my dad, Nicholas, that I should be sent to Florida to be put in a rehab center where they force drug people in Florida for a number of days to make them forget certain things. Well, trust me, you guys, even if you do these things to me, I'm still not going to forget my covenant, because it's my divine ordinance. And none of those games you played will make me forget my mission or who I is at any level. So the silent treatment of Russell Pearson, with a North Carolina thing, And the plan to, then head over to Shasta, well, to meaning Colorado, I don't really support or back up anymore Miguel Lamboy because of his actions, nor do I back up and support the Bikram Center, because any being who would put a feminine in danger and disrespected and throw her in a park for any reason is just nobody I can respect. It's simple. Anybody who would record my session to make pretend somebody else can give my session and get me kicked out of all these places in Hilton World, that's nothing I respect. That's power over. That's manipulation. That's, if you don't suck my dick, then this. Well, this is never gonna happen. So that's all I have to say. I literally went to Mount Shasta to meet Sir Pearson. That was my reason to going. And I even asked Miguel, when is he going to be back home? And he never came back home. And then he backed up my child's covenant and my personal divine covenant on March 8th. And then he started to turn himself into my so-called pimp, which the people here locally would tell me about. And every time, like the night before I left to North Carolina, I got new threats from these people that sit at the Carolina and Crumbs Cafe, meaning, when you leave, don't blame us for what happens next. Like, they're telling me plain, simply, bluntly that they're gonna steal my website. Because right away that night, people from Broad Creek Landing, where I initiated Love Dima from, and as I shifted to Aurora, Mother of New Creation fully, I also evolved my website to auroramotherofnewcreation.com. And nobody in Texas that followed me around from San Antonio to Dallas has permission to use my card to buy my domain, then close down my bank Audi funds, and then blow up my country. Like, that's complete power over. This is not love ever present. This is not balanced harmonics. This is not anything that the transcript, my heart equal earth, are about. So I don't know by what audacity Amy Carlson still says that she's mother of all creation under these circumstances, when she denied my divine covenant. I never denied her at any point. I never denied anybody. Miguel lied about me. He gave my identity to several people. And maybe, they thought it's a fun game. Then in the end, I'm going to run to them. But that's not how things work on Earth. I'm a 36-year-old grown woman. And I don't know who you guys think you're playing besides yourselves, truly. And that's as far as it can go. And in terms of Jonah, I comprehend, he got screwed over radically and royally because he was really into me. He would ask about me all the time in Mission House, and I never even dared think one thought about him because Amy said he's my twin flame about him. And the word was, I'm Miguel's twin flame, but I always knew in the back of my brain was Russell Pearson because I just felt him. I felt him at all times. I didn't feel anybody else at that point. And for the longest time, I kept feeling him until this time when Jonah hijacked me through the Russ, Vivo, whatever, music situation there and started to talk to me. The first few moments, the first night he tried to communicate with me, I went into the same fetal position that I went into when Russell Pearson personally sent me the letter he did the first time. And for weeks, I thought I was talking to Russell Pearson, and then he said his birthday was in September, and then I'm like, whoa, he's a Libra? And then slowly, I started to notice, oh, that's Jonah Terry. And then when the official manager spoke to me, I also thought it was Russell Pearson. When FBI talked to me, I also thought it was Russell Pearson. So everything that I said to these people that is of any nature, like, of the nature of, creative expression of, I'm not going to call it desire style because that's ego, but of, admirational energies, it was towards Russell Pearson. It was not towards any of them. But then in the end, Jonah managed to take over Russell's contract, I felt, because I wasn't sure anymore at all, because I got very disturbed by all these energies. And that's all there is to say for now. That's all there is to say. And I don't appreciate manipulation, and I don't appreciate lies or controversy or power over, because we're all adults here and we're all on mission, and this is about the planet. This is not about personal preference or who's gonna dangle the biggest carrot and where I'm gonna run, because that game's really stupid. I mean, it makes anyone involved look really dumb. Like, and I pray for all the cops that, thought that it would be cool to play these games, as well as, Amber stealing 843290399 and my email address, and, playing who's a better thief, Andrew Amber versus Jonah Tatiana. Who's gonna take the cake? Where am I gonna go? Am I gonna become Aurora Morningstar or Aurora Diamond Rainbow? When I'm both, it's my journey. And as a being on my journey, I am free to evolve the way I want to, trusting the universe that the beings around me are constitutionalized and in right action, and that robbery is not something normal or acceptable under, first of all, the gospel, second of all, the Constitution, which is this is a nation where they swear on the gospel every day at every court. And how dare they put me in court or say anything about me over the gospel when they legalized robbery and identity theft and manipulation at these levels, and tried to prove, one of them, that I'm not me because she's brunette and she stole half my paintings, and the other one tried to prove that I'm not me because she's me but she's still 843 and has the other half of my paintings. And they hired Stephen Thompson to help them with it, closed down my Facebook. Like, that's actual terrorist activity. So I cut cords with all this all the time, and that's all there is to say to it. There's no threat that's gonna work on me anymore, or manipulation, or any of it. So the whole point was to meet one being that I never met, and he sent me